Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Joe Daddy's Garage and the Monday Night Live chat. It's kind of a off day / weekend thing for me, but we'll talk more about that later. Anyway, normally what we do on Monday nights and Thursday afternoons is we try to answer questions about cars, primarily classic stuff like Mustangs, Camaros, Firebirds, mopars, whatever comes to the top of the list. So normally when we do this, I try to give somebody if somebody gives a good answer, they get a bell, and if I give an answer, I get a bell if that's right. If I don't know the answer, then we have people over here on the side who generally have some good information and can share their answers with us. So hope you I know I tend to have a lot of return subscribers or viewers, and that's fantastic. And I occasionally get some new ones. I will point out, we had issues with clowns showing up and trying to ruin it for everybody. I've tried to adjust that and have more control over who comes in. Now, I had somebody show up early, and he was trying to be rude, and so I put him in a timeout. So I think it's Hades something. So you're in timeout. So just be warned. You'll go in timeout, but if you're immediately offensive, you're blocked. Now, along with that, I've had a couple of emails from people who could not comment on our chat, and as it turns out, they were blocked. So I have moderators who monitor what's going on, and I also block people as necessary. So if something has happened where you have been blocked and you can't comment, send me an email. Now, obviously, I know there's some that are just horrible names and stuff. They're going to stay blocked. But Karsten was one from Denmark, and I had to unblock him so he could be on a chat. So just keep that in mind. We try to keep it. It's a clean show. Just put it that way. Anyway, so let's move on. Right off the bat, Jeff, JK Mustang, super sticker. Can't thank you enough for that. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Very welcome to have that. Very honored to have that. So thank you very much. Rick Gain, looking for some enjoyable car chat, had an annoying day and need to kick back and relax a bit. Yep, I understand that. I understand that a lot. Bob Knoll, good evening, checking in from Detroit. Bob Shoemaker from Oklahoma. Okay, so now we're on to two Bobs. Normally we have Dave's show up, but I'm going to do a Bob Bell since Bob Noel was first, and then Bob Shoemaker is right there after that. So Nandu. Now I would give you a bell, but we don't have any other Nan people. But okay, you get a bell anyway. Glad you're here. Hi, Bear and everyone. Hope all had a good weekend. Rick Gain, the first live stream of the spring season, enjoying the nice weather in New Jersey. Yes. Yeah, the weather's it's been a little chilly here over the past couple days, but it's definitely going to be improving. We all know as the seasons change. Steve Dickerson, howdy from Texas. Glad you're here. Gordon Cahoon, hot day in Maine. Thanks for sending some this way. You're welcome. Let's see. Steve Dickerson, we are due storms tonight, high winds, possible hail, and tornadoes. Well, make sure you are taking cover. Be cautious. Harvey, Rally Cat Garage, happy Monday. Yes. Caden Weichel, howdy. Any news of your brother? Well, thank you for asking. Unfortunately, and I didn't want to. I'll answer the question because you asked it, and bad news. Bad news. He passed away Friday night, and complications. We'll just label it that. So he passed away. I got a call from my mom late Friday night. So I may be a little off today. Just saying. I've had the last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday haven't slept real well. Just put it that way. So thank you for asking, though. Honestly, if you saw the thumbnail that I posted for this live stream, that's one of my brother's creations. That's his 4x4 Montego. I believe it is a Montego. One of his many creations. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to put that up there. So anyway, lots of things going on in my head this past weekend, and it's been difficult. It's been very difficult, and it's only going to get more difficult, I think. And we have funeral stuff going on this weekend, so not looking forward to any of that. But it's there. So thank you for asking, though. Honestly, Phil checking in from sunny California. Finally sunny. Good. Nandu, Barry, you changed Jade for a bike. Well, we're going to talk about that too. We'll get to that in just a couple minutes. But thank you for noticing. Let's see. Greg's Workshop. Hope all are going well. I hope. Yes. Glad you're here, Greg. 64 and a half Stang. Shane from Pittsburgh checking in. Glad you're here. Crash Rider. Hello from Southern Indiana. 30 miles north of Fort Knox and 40 miles north of E-Town. Well, I'm going to be in that area, honestly, this coming weekend. I don't know that I could make a visit, but I will be in that exact area here this coming weekend. Andrew, Grease Rookie checking in. Clark, $10, man. Thank you for that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. Rick Gillen, good evening, Barry, and all. Ben, so sorry. Yes, thank you. Honestly, I appreciate it. I do. Hindsight, Roger. I just got back from E-Town. Yeah, he has connection to E-Town as well. Caden, Mr. Paranoid is already making out like a bandit at the beginning of the stream. Yeah. I don't know whoever that guy was. I put him in timeout. Clark Clifford, aka. Is that Nan Dave? Cooter, hello from cold, rainy Oklahoma. Glad you're here. Ben, $20. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I genuinely do. I really, really do. Rick, sorry to hear the news of your brother, Rich. I'm sorry. Yes, it's unexpected. He was in a hospital 2 to 3 weeks. Things just didn't go like they should have. And, he was 59 years old. So now I will say, honestly, we're not the type of brothers who were like this close. We were kind of this close. I mean, obviously he's my brother. I've known him all my life. And he's 6 years older than me. Known him all my life. And in some respects, he's been the person I looked up to for a lot of things. For what he knows and he could fix and do, always inspired me to want to do more. So, we communicated. We didn't go out of our way to meet, stuff like that. But it's been a long time. Obviously, I'm well over 50 years. So. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult. Caden, I'm so sorry, Barry. Sorry if asking to rub salt in the wound. No, I was gonna have to bring that up anyway. I knew that. So yeah. Jeff, sorry to hear about your brother. Yep, thank you. Chris Greenaway checking in. Steve, so sorry, Barry. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Harvey, what is the cool bike in the background? Harvey, that is probably an 05 Triumph. And, again, the second question on a bike. And I wanted people to see that. So the reason for that is I have a friend who is in Afghanistan. He's over in Afghanistan. And he had asked me to do some work on this Triumph. Okay. He's headed to another or at least one other shop. They didn't do what he asked. And he asked me, I've worked on bikes for him before, 2 other bikes at the body shop and here. So if you were to look up the Cafe Racer Honda 250, I think it was. I did work on that and various things. But anyway, that's going to be. I'm, for lack of a better term, going to adjust some priorities here. Life just kind of kicks you around. So I've been putting this off for several reasons, but the work involved, I'm going to repaint that tank. He wants it's more of a bluish green color. And I'm going to do some seat mods. It's a cafe style. And so it's got a steel plate that somebody made for the cafe seat. He wants that done in fiberglass. So I'm going to remake that in fiberglass. I think I'm going to redesign the rear fender. And I think he wanted me to do something with the headlight brackets, I think. But that's a future. I mean, I'm going to be working on that soon. I may step away from Jade for a brief period and try to get that thing taken care of for him. So it's kind of important to me to take care of that. So, Rick, many prayers being sent for you and your family. Thank you. Nandy, sorry to hear about your loss. My thoughts and prayers for you and your family. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Karsten. Hi, Barry. Good evening. Sorry to hear about your loss. I'm glad you're here, Karsten. I was just talking earlier about how some people had mistakenly been blocked, and you were one of them. So now I'm glad you're able to chat with me. Thank you, Crash Rider. Appreciate it. Jeff Deal, finally springtime hitting in Chicago. Tell us about the Montego. Looks fun. Well, I can tell you this. We used to build stuff at the junkyard all the time. And this was something we had built other 4x4 cars, various things. And I think he just had a whim. He got a wild hair and said, you know what? I want to make this Montego. I can drive it in the winter. So I don't know exactly what's underneath it as far as a chassis. I think it's it might be a Blazer. I don't even know, but it's just one of those things that he put together. And, he drove it all the time up there in Kentucky. In fact, in the picture, it's in the snow. You can see it's got snow all over it. So he definitely was using that thing. Greg Barry, sorry to hear that. All the best. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. DP, hi Barry, checking in from Yardley, Pennsylvania. Glad you're here. Jeff Deal was just down in Bowling Green National Corvette Museum Raceway this weekend for a champ car race. Got hit and spun into a wall, but all is okay. New car build plan, beautiful country. I was there last year. It's a beautiful area. That's for sure. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Willie Goodman, good evening, all. Positive vibes to you and the family, Barry. Thank you. I need all that I can get. Really do. And it's only going to get more difficult. It's whenever we do the funeral stuff and there's all kinds of things going to be involved, and it's going to just be very difficult. Good evening, Willie. Thank you here. Glad you're here. Greg, workshop, cool bike. Yeah. It's going to be, I'll step aside for a minute. You can kind of see he's blacking out all the chrome stuff on it. So like the side panel on the engine, that's going to get blacked out. And then the color is going to be like kind of a blue like this, I think. And there's a question for anybody who's worked on stuff like that. I mean, I've built all kinds of car stuff, and I have a question because this particular build, he's kind of copying another build that's popular in Europe, apparently. And the pictures he sent me, the center of the tank, they've added a rib of some sort to give it some character. And I've been kicking myself around trying to figure out, how do I make this rib? What material did I make that out of? And it's only like that high, maybe 1/4 inch, maybe. And I don't even know if it levels out, but it's kind of radiused up. So if anybody has any ideas on that, that would be beneficial. Oh, there he is. The bike made it into the show. Yes, Dan. Yes, it has. I was just talking about what's going on with it. So, Rich, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. Yes. Anyway, Dan, yeah, the bike's here. And I want to get ready. I want to do some things to it. I want to get it moving, get it ready for you, you know? Chris, it was 50 degrees in Ontario yesterday. Had the formula out for its maiden cruise for the year in March in Ontario. That's cool. That's a good thing, Chris. You must have the night off. Destroyer, smack the like button. Yes, please do. Please do. Denny, hey, very sorry for loss. Prayers for you and your family. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Caden, thank you for your service. Dan Shader, yes. Rick Stevenson, hello, everyone. Glad you're here, Rick. Glad you're here. So, anyway, that's where life is right now. It's been my brother. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Probably the best mechanic I've ever met, known, or talked to, and he's one of the mechanics that we learned everything from trial and error and stuff we did at the junkyard. And he did go to school for like diesel tech and stuff like that, but he could fix anything. I mean, really, he's no body guy. That was not even in his wheelhouse, but, he could fix anything. So I was always looking up to him and what his abilities were from that aspect. He could weld like a magician. So just all the stuff that he could do. And, we had some conversations about the idea that how life may have been different if we had kind of come together and built stuff together because of his mechanical abilities and what I can do, all the other stuff. So, we had those kind of conversations. What could have been had we been side by side? But you can't go back in time. You can't change that. That's just one of those questions that he pondered with me, and just kind of interesting. And there's little phrases, like you hear me say. I may say whatever. I say a little bit, whatever conversation thing I might say. But some of the key things I say all the time are like sequences scored, stuff like that. Stuff I heard in the military, and what's I remember like two really solid phrases my brother used to use on me all the time. Well, three, let's say. One, he knew that he could prod me into working myself to death to get something done because he would just say, "You'll never get that done in time. You'll never finish that. You'll never get it done." And I would kill myself to prove to him that I could get it done. It's just that's the kind of mentality that we had. Another thing he used to say was I would talk about something, whatever this thing was. And he would say, well, it sounds like you've got yourself convinced. It sounds like you've got yourself convinced. And so it was just one of those things that when he said that, I kind of would step back and go, okay, am I right here? Am I really, am I thinking this right? Or am I just talking myself into it type of thing? And then the other one, just because it makes me laugh to think about it. It does. It lightens my heart. He would say, I would say something, whatever, a statement in anger or something, whatever it was. And he would say, like a psychiatrist, "How does that make you feel?" And then I would respond with something. And then he would respond back, "How does that make you feel?" Probably the greatest thing he could ever say to me, actually, because it would defuse things, and it would just, just one of those cool things that you remember, about people in your life. And those are like three of the big things that I remember from my brother. So, Dan, the wrench monkeys provided how they did it. Well, you need to send me a link to that. You need to send me a link to that. So I'm not over here killing myself trying to figure something out. Chris, love the 3-day weekend. Makes it hard to go to the 12-hour grind. Yeah. Crash Rider, you could possibly find a hood with the shape peak you need and cut a section out for the tank. Well, the thing is, I don't want to weld on his tank. Welding, I'm not going to do. That's out of the question. 64, when it comes to cars, hands-on is better than books any day. School of Hard Knocks. Yes, I cannot argue that at all. Dan, sorry to hear about the passing of your brother. Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. It really is. It's going to be tough, and I'm not looking forward to this weekend. I can tell you that right now. I am not looking forward to this weekend. It's Chris. It's funny how you two split. One body, one mechanic. Funny, my quote to live by. Buy a solid body. I only can fix motors because we don't do body work. Okay, I get that. Don Thompson with Betsy was out of town last week, but caught the live stream after the fact. Okay, glad you're here, Don. Cooter finally got tired of cleaning up ATF from the Speedo and shift leakage. This morning I took the 66 in for rebuild of the C4. First rebuild during the 36 years of my watch. Not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Steve, thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. I really do. Thank you very much. Drag Boss. What's up, Joe Daddy? Sorry for your loss. Drag Boss on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, thank you for that. It's going to be tough. I'm going to I'm saying that over and over, but it is. And that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at maybe adjusting some priorities. I may have to, I've been, building cars for people, doing stuff here on my own, and I'm going to continue doing stuff, but I may have to, and I hate to put it this way, but stop being such a nice guy in some respects, because with the passing of my brother, I'm like, you know what? Life is suddenly short. I mean, I'm past halfway point. I know I'm past halfway. And this whole thing has got me like, I need to rethink some things, So that's where, like I said, I need to take care of the motorcycle for Dan. And, part of this is I can prep. I'm still doing prep work on Jade. I have a few more things to do before I get ready for actual spray the next round of primer, but I can do that tank at the same time. So it'll save me a little bit of time there and take care of that. So just kind of trying to put things in sequence. Now, as far as everything else, I may have to rethink what I'm working on and how much time I'm putting into things. Just, you can read into that however you like. But I've got a car here that's been taking up time, and it's not benefiting me to have it here. So just saying, not trying to be too direct on that, but I think you get the idea. Let's see. Chris, are the FMX transmissions any good? I've heard mixed emotions compared to the C6. I don't have a good answer for that. If anybody else has some good information for Chris, by all means, please share it. Art, I hear you're never going to finish that all the time. To prove them wrong, I'll start yet another project. Yeah. And usually it wasn't like the whole project. It would be like putting an engine in a car, and I had to get it done by that night and struggling with it. And he would say, you'll never get it done. And I'd be up till 4 o'clock in the morning to prove him that I would get it done. Ish. Hello, Barry. Glad you're here. Cooter. It's quality of life that matters, not the quantity of billable hours that matter. Yes. And, it's just becoming more and more clear that some of the stuff I've been doing for the last 3 years has not really benefited like it should. And I'm tired of it. Just be honest. I'm tired of it. And I'm ready to clean things out of the shop and start something new. I'm just ready for that. So, Drag Boss, you realize, like me, only have so much time on this big blue ball. Stay strong and stay away from the FMX. Transmission's too heavy and weak. Okay, there you go. There's the input from the FMX. Art, wasted shop space sucks. Yep, that and waiting on parts. And waiting on parts. And waiting on parts. There's a lot of things that are just pushing me towards a serious frustration. And, you know, Chris, with loss, there's reflection and healing. I'm glad you're putting your back burner self projects are finally coming through. Yeah. Yeah, I got to get stuff done. Dan, watered on a small tube and shaped the edges with filler, not remotely how I thought they did it. Oh, well, see, that's just it, Dan. I don't want to weld on that tank. I do not want to weld on that tank. I don't like that because it affects the liner, the inside of the tank. I just don't like that. So it may or may not happen. Just letting you know. Don, oh man, sorry to hear about your brother Barry. Thank you. Drag Boss is saying stay away from the FMX. Okay, thank you for that. Denny, rebuilding door hinges on my 6.5 Mustang right now. Thanks for the hinge video. You're welcome. Caden, ouch. Yeah. Arthur, to be quite honest, I have built 6 cars compared to a friend mine. I guess a friend of mine, 1 car. All to my friends, my friend's 1 car. It's not how long it takes or how much you got into it, but it's what you do that you enjoy doing. Don't rush things. Yeah, and I get that. The problem is whenever you take on a project that's supposed to be managed and it's not your project, you're doing it for somebody else, and the project drags out for an extended period of time, causing you really to lose money, honestly. Because of that project, I've been turning people away. I've had, I can't tell you how many people have offered me cars, want to send me cars to do simple things, and I keep telling them I don't have the space. I don't have the, so, I'm genuinely losing money because I'm storing a car. I'm storing a car for a great period of time. I've been storing a car, and it's getting me to the point where I'm going to get my back against the wall, and something's going to have to happen. So, Chris, you old guys would blow the motor Friday night, get a replacement for it Saturday morning, and be out Saturday night. Where did we go wrong? Yeah, you're right. In fact, I'll tell you this. When I was in the military and I had my 72 Chevy 4x4, I blew the engine in it. And I mean, scattered it. It was junk. I took the engine out of that truck without a hoist in the parking lot at our barracks at Fort Benning. I took it apart. I took the heads off, the intake off, and then I got inside the engine bay and I lifted the block of that 350 out and threw it out of the out on the parking lot. So I did all that, no help. And then I had my grandfather actually brought me an engine from the junkyard in Pennsylvania down to Fort Benning. And we put it on the bed of the truck. And I towed that on the base. They had places you could work on cars. You could pay like $1 and use the whole facility, hoists and tools and whatever. I pulled that truck in there at noon, and this is a 4-speed truck. It's got a clutch. I pulled that thing in, and it was noon. And the guy said, I got to get this done so I can leave. And the guy said, oh, you won't get that done today. We close, I think they said at 5:00. When I'd put that engine in the truck, had everything connected except for I didn't have the manifolds bolted tight. I just had them turned in with bolts. And I drove that truck out of there at 5:00. That's putting in the clutch, That's setting the engine in place. That's connecting everything. And I drove that truck out of there at 5 o'clock. And the guy was shaking his head. He's like, I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it. So, yeah, but I wouldn't try that now necessarily. I don't have the back for it anymore. Bob Knoll, let's see. Does a C6 transmission fit in a 67 Mustang? And Don Thompson quickly answered, yes, the C6 will fit the 67. Okay, Dan, thank you for that. Not happened. Good. I'm just going to, because that's been in my head for several months now about how I would do that on that gas tank. And I said, you know what? I don't want to weld on that thing. I just can't. It doesn't make sense. 64.5. Wonder if body panel glue would hold something on the tank. I've thought about that. I've considered the idea of panel bond adhesive. I've considered JB Weld. I've considered fiberglass filler. But the challenge with all that is if you independently put in filler or something, now you've got to come up with a straight line, and you've got to come up with matching transitions. So I think we're further ahead just to nix it. I think it'll look just fine without that rib on the top. Harvey, structure bonding adhesive may be the way to go on that tank. Well, that may be an answer too. But I think at this point, I like it smooth. Steve, question on seam sealing a 66 Mustang. Watched your video, but don't remember if it should go on after primer. Can it go on bare metal? Anything special to put on it before more primer and paint? From all I understand, and let me just see real quick this container. And this is what I've used. I used up like half this can. And anytime we've done this before, we had just put it on top of primer. I have not looked to see if it could go to bare metal. It says seal seams and joints that are spot welded, riveted, or bolted. Permanent adhesion to bare or painted surfaces. Flexible, fast drying, can be painted over in 1 hour. So what we always did at the shop, we would do the primer, sand it, add the seam sealer on top, and then put another round of primer on top of that. And in doing so, what I'm doing is kind of locking it in, but I'm also giving it a neutral color tone, let's say. So if I cover it with primer, I don't have to worry about a color variation whenever I put paint on top of it. And it locks everything in. So good question. Give you a bell for that, Steve. Good question. Bad Harry, hey Barry, sorry for your loss of your brother. I'm a little late enjoying a walk with my wife on this sunny day. Life is short. It is short. It is short. Gustavo, hey Barry, what type of filler do you recommend? Well, let me grab that. I use Evercoat Rage Ultra. Woo, almost dropped that. Do you see that? I use this Rage Evercoat Ultra. There it is. I like this stuff. It works great. No complaints. In fact, it's on my Amazon page if you're interested. If you're interested. Good question. Thank you. Caden, holy crap, you sound like Car Jesus himself in that story. Hey, listen, when you're young and dumb, you do a lot of dumb things. Probably one of the dumbest things that I did. Again, young, dumb, strong as an ox. We had pulled a 4-cylinder engine out of something. And now this is in the 80s. I was probably 17. Pulled a 4-cylinder engine out of something. And it still had the manifold on it. It wasn't like a bare, it had all this, a bunch of attachments on it. And it was in the bucket of our tractor. And the goal was to put that engine in the trunk of a car so it could be kept dry or whatever. And I was trying to lift that thing up off of the bucket of the tractor and pivot and put it on in the car. What ended up happening, and this is a junkyard story. I didn't even think about that. Junkyard story. So I I'm lifting this thing up, and you lean against something. So I had my legs pressed against the bucket of the tractor, and I pivoted the engine, and I caught the flesh of my leg that was pushed over the edge of that tractor. I caught it with part of that block, and I ripped a hole in my leg. Not a big hole, but a hole. I ripped a hole in my leg, and I got really mad at that point. And I just picked that engine up, and I smashed it into the trunk of that car. And of course, I was panicking because it's a serious injury. I dropped my pants right there, and sure enough, there was a hole like the end of my pinky that it took all the flesh off, and it was like you could see the muscle, whatever fat layer, whatever underneath there. Let me tell you, that's a sensitive area, and it hurt. It hurt bad. It hurt real bad. So let me see where we're at here. Hold on. Arthur, for that matter, doing a project that doesn't belong to you, I'm working on my wife's car. I've painted the car 4 times, and she still don't like it. Now I've got to paint it another 5th time. Let her pick the color this time. That's what I would do. If she doesn't like it, say, well, here's your color chart, honey. Which one do you like? Because that's what it's going to be, and then I'm done. Let her take the credit for it. Andrew, I wouldn't blame you for one bit for moving on to new projects. Time waits for no man. Yes. Yeah. And I mean, I've been very patient. I've been very, very patient with this process. And it's just been not good, mentally for me at this point. Arthur, so I know what it means to paint something over and over and deal with it over and over again. I hate this car. Yeah, I get you. I understand that. Pick something else. Pick it, because black is black. If you say, look, here's the choices, black or black, and just paint it. That's what you get. 5 times. Are you taking all the paint back off when you do that? Because you can only go so thick with paint, and then you're going to have problems. Just know that. Dan, I remember a guy that had a VW bus motor in his barracks wall locker was discovered during a health and wellness inspection, also at Fort Benning. That's funny. Caden's laughing. Chris, that's why I'm gunning the Firebird formula to be done. My dad is 68. His dad didn't get past that point. Well, what's really bad in any of these situations, whenever you, and I know I'm somewhat connected to this anyway, but what I'm trying to say is it's difficult to get out and right words, but nobody should have to bury their kid, no matter how old they are. No matter how old they are. So nobody. And so my mom is pretty distressed. Obviously, it's her oldest child. And so nobody should have to deal with that. Karsten, waiting on parts sounds like my life, but my son's car, Buick 67, so it just, my garage space, it hurts. Yeah. Yeah. Stephen, that makes sense. Thank you. Okay. Chris, how about a plastic piece, an insert that could simply attach via shallow screws? No, not put any screws in the tank. I mean, I get what you're saying, but yeah. Andy Jackson, hi everyone. Glad you're here. Shane, my favorite time to work on Stang is when my son comes in from college and helps. Does your son work with you at all? Nope. We tried. I tried when they were young to get him involved, and I got him to do some welding stuff, but I could never really get him out here. They change their own oil, stuff like minimal things, but I could never get him to come out in the garage. Hold on a second. I'm getting a bunch of random. Okay, let me fix that. Got it. Sorry. I don't know if you're hearing that or not, but there was some stuff come through. But yeah, they don't do much as far as that goes. They want to drive my stuff, I can tell you that, but never really had good luck with getting them out here. Caden, yikes. Yeah, it was a yikes moment. Caden, you should make a podcast on your junkyard stories. Yeah, that would be, there's plenty of them. Plenty of them. Rich, question for brazing in different locations on a 610 Mustang. Installed factory full quarters. Went to braze in a few areas. Is TIG and brass brazing rods adequate? Um, you know, I mean, do you want to braze it just for looks, just to copy? Is that the goal? Because when it's painted, you're never going to see all that stuff. It's going to all be covered up anyway. So I don't know if that's your goal is, but really, I would say yes, as far as that goes. I think they probably use oxyacetylene, torch, but I would say a TIG and brass brazing rods would probably be fine. But, it's going to all be covered up. Rick saying, teach the wife how to paint. Yeah, there you go. Steve, you should have watched Clint Eastwood in Every Which Way But Loose one more time before picking up that engine. Yeah. I remember that scene. I can tell you this, Clint Eastwood could not have picked up that engine. I'm just being honest. That was definitely a doctored up piece of equipment. That was a straight 6 engine. He wasn't picking that up. Arthur, we got to find a couple more of us so we can compete with Dave's. Yeah, I think we have 2 Arts. Is that right? Am I right? Or am I wrong? We have an Arthur. Yeah, an Art. Well, there's a bell for 2 Arts. I'll give you 2 bells. 2 Arts. Rick, Henry Ford said you can have any color you want as long as it's black. And that was with the Model T, I believe. Here's bringing that up. I talked to a gentleman a couple days ago about he's got some classic cars that he really wants me to work on, and I can't. Why? Because I have stuff in here. Anyway, he was talking about he knows a lot about the Model A's, and I of course have one, and he commented that there were 4 colors for the Model A. And I don't know if he means from 28 to 31 or if he meant mine specifically being the 31. And I think it was a blue, there was a brown. I'm not even sure what the other 2 colors were. They were all subdued kind of colors. They weren't real bright, but they had 4 colors apparently for the Model A. The Penguin, hey Barry, really enjoying your videos. Would you tell me where I can find the Shopline primer? Is that going to be from PPG only? Yes, that is a PPG product. Chris, few interior parts, hopefully off to paint in April, and then May, June, July, August will be a total fresh car. Cool. That sounds good. Crash Rider Arthur, give your wife a 4-inch brush and let her paint it. Arthur, great. Thanks for telling me I'm going to have more problems. P.S. I hate this car. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so Arthur, seriously, if you've painted that car 5 times, 4 times, 3 times, you really are. I'm not saying you will have problems. If you go back and look at some of the early Jade videos, and you look at some of, I think I detailed some of it, where multiple layers of paint near, like say the vents on the cowl. Okay. Once you start painting that rib, in essence, you're making that rib fatter and fatter and fatter with each layer of paint. What's supporting that paint underneath where that rib has stopped? So, just like if I use my phone here as a reference, the edge of that rib, and you put a layer of paint, well, it's bonded to that first side of that rib, but each consecutive layer is now hanging out in space, technically. Maybe a little bit, but it's out in space. The problem with that is over time, that piece is going to want to separate. it's going to want to come apart because there's nothing holding it down. So just know that you can only really comfortably repaint a car like twice. Or paint a car, second round is probably the most I would do. After that, I'd start over. I'd have to take it all back off. Bad Harry, I also love when my son comes home from university and helps with the restoration of my 67. He also can't wait to drive it. Yeah, I get that. But I always was like, man, why? Well, my son's never really got interested, which was obviously disappointing. Brad Bell, my buddy, bought a 6.6 convertible this summer. We just got done cutting out the shock towers. Your videos have been super helpful. Thank you. You're welcome. Bob Noel, what about Bob? What about Bob? That was a great movie. I'll give you a Bob Bell. I'm generous tonight. Chris, best movie I watched was Gran Torino. Family doesn't always deserve to inherit your prized possession if they value it or for just a monetary value. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Bad Harry. Only one Harry wife said they broke the mold when they made me. Yeah, well, my grandfather's name was Harry. So not a lot of you. And there's not a lot of Barrys out there either. I can tell you that. But that was my grandfather's name. DP Arthur, have you considered taking your wife to the eye doctor? Maybe she needs some glasses. Who knows? She doesn't like that color. Maybe, maybe there's something she's seeing that you're not, or that you're seeing that she's not. That's where you got to find that neutral color. Paint everything gray. Just there you go. But just be warned, it is difficult, with those multiple layers of paint. Just saying. I don't know what USN. I don't know what you're saying. USN. So I'm just going to pass over. Flo, my thoughts and prayers with you and your family and your brother's friends at this time. Thank you, Flo. Thank you. Seriously. I appreciate that. Art. Dave's. My kid gets into it. I might need him to finish the car for me. Okay. Whoops. Chris, there was a woman my parents were friends with for a time. She had to have 30 layers of paint on the walls of her house, painted every room every year. Wow. So that house, it got smaller. It got smaller every year. Clark, shoot a scrap vendor and ask her if it's a color she wants before shooting the whole car. See, there you go. Good idea. 64.5. Chris, hope that house never burns. Yeah. Good call, Shane. That thing go up quick. Art, I hope my kid gets into it. I don't know I don't know how Dave's popped up in there. I was wondering what that was about, Art. Dave's not here. Well, don't we do some Dave's? I'm sure there are some Dave's here. Have all the Dave's checked in, or any of the Dave's checked in? Because that would be odd if we didn't have. I haven't noticed any. What is going on? Where are all the Dave's? We're missing some Dave's here. Huh. Cooter, back in the day, only $99 would get all the Earl Scheib paint jobs you wanted. That's true. That is true. And then you could go to the car wash and start over. Greg Workshop, hi Barry, got to see you. Got to go see you next live feed. Okay. Oh, next live feed. Gotcha, Greg. Chris 64. My dad built a deck for her, and it was gone 3 months later. My dad is a wonderful carpenter. Okay. It was gone 3 months later. I don't know what that means. They decided they didn't want it. Cheech and 64 Cheech and Chong. Yeah, Dave's not here. Exactly. Well, see, normally you have a bunch of Daves checking in, but unless I missed one, I have not seen a Dave in the group, and that is odd. That is odd. because normally we have several. And unless they've, and I would hope they haven't been blocked, because that would be just wrong. Bad Harry, pick up a almost brand new Coyote engine last weekend for my 6.7. Only had 600 miles on it when the vehicle was wrecked. Still has factory oil filter. Wow, that's nice. Yeah, that's real nice. Arthur, actually, I've only painted it once. I just keep having flaws in the paint job. It's such an odd color with metallics and pearls. Just different spot to the car. I had to cut back down and repaint the car. Okay. Yeah, metallics and pearls. Yeah, you're asking for a lot of problems. Honestly, I mean it's a good look. What we learned at the body shop, when you had pearl stuff, you had to do like the whole car, because if you try to do a panel or a transition, kind of a blend, I will say this: most people could not see it. I could see it. If we took it outside and I looked at it in the sun, I'm like, well, there's the line right there. There's the transition. There's the blend. So that was a difficulty with pearls for sure. And metallics, same thing. If they didn't lay right, when they flop, you could see it. Or at least I could. If my wife asked me to paint her car for a 5th time, I'd offer her that new color. Divorce. No. DP, Arts 1, Dave 0. Actually, Arts, we have 2 Arts. We have Arthur and Art. So we had 2. That's pretty good. Chris, me and him do so much work, tile, wallpaper, etc., and too much shed, tear it up and remodel. OCD, as we said, over compulsive designing disorder. Over compulsive designing disorder. I like that. Over compulsive designing disorder. I like that. Or it could be obsessive compulsive designing disorder. But I do like that. Gustavo, does anyone know how much money do you have to spend for free shipping at CJ? I don't know for sure, but I think it's $200. I think. Somebody else will probably have that answer too. Shane, Chris, she must be like the Winchester lady, keeps building to nowhere. Yeah, that Winchester house, crazy. Thursall Garage, hey Barry, I'm glad to join you. Even if I'm a little late, I had kick panels on my back order for 3 months. And finally called MPD. They had one on my front porch in 32 hours. Awesome. So was it on back order? Back order from CJ? Is that what you're saying? Is that the accusation? That it was back order from CJ? Or, because if you called MPD and they had one in 32 hours, then I would say they didn't have the back order issue. So I can only assume it was CJ. Dr. Boom, hey Barry, sorry I'm late. Family vacation in Las Vegas. Well, yeah, that's okay. I'm surprised you're here. I would be, having fun in Las Vegas. Clark, February 1st is National Dave Day. Arthur, Gozum, partially colorblind, looks beautiful to me, and I could really care less about this thing. Did I say I hated this car? Wait a minute, what's Gozum? What is Gozum? You lost me at Gozum. Is that a new word that I don't know? Or was that a comment to somebody? Gozum. I like it though, whatever that is. It's one of the Lord of the Rings characters, Gozum, right? I don't know. Chris, Barry, you may have it with panel fitting and gap OCDD. Yes. Oh, I can't argue that. I know when I looked at this gentleman's car the other day, he had a 53 Cadillac convertible and I think a 46 Packard convertible. And he uses these cars for weddings. He rents them out for weddings. And I looked at he was trying to get me to look at a 1956 Mercedes 300. If anybody knows where there's a body a body for a 1956 Mercedes-Benz 300, I think he'd be interested in buying it because it was bad. It was Brooklyn Pony bad. And you can't buy parts for that. You can't. It needed A-pillars rebuilt. It needed rocker panels rebuilt. It needed floor pans rebuilt. It was quite the thing. So if anybody knows, 56 Mercedes 300 that's just sitting that somebody wants to get rid of, let me know because I may be able to help this guy out. But the other thing is the 53 Cadillac convertible. Nice looking car. As it turns out, it was made or rebuilt from like 3 different cars. And part of the problem he was showing me was the door didn't fit right. Well, you look at, I have this OCDD with door hinges and stuff like that and gaps and whatever. And the door at the bottom stuck out 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. Okay. At the bottom. The top stuck out a little bit. Okay. So that means the door needs to pivot into the body. The problem is the front of the door lines up with the fender, and the door interacts with the seal before it can move anywhere. Like it's already making contact in that both the doors on the car are out at the bottom. And he was practically begging me to take this car and try to figure out what's going on with it. Well, after I found out that it was made from different cars, I think what happened was they pieced stuff together without doing what? What didn't they do? Test fit. Test fit, test fit, test fit. I say it all the time. And so I think they ended up with ill-fitting doors. Another problem is the door hinges themselves. If you look at like the Mustang, okay, you've got the door mounted, the hinge mounted to the pillar, A-pillar, right? When it's mounted to that A-pillar, you can move it. You can move it fore and aft, up and down, kind of angle slightly, right? So you can pivot that thing around. When it's mounted to the door, same thing. You can move the door up and down, in and out. You can get these locations by doing that. This car, it has a hinge that's mounted to the face of the A-pillar within the door jamb. So what does that mean? Your only movement is in and out at the door or at the jamb, maybe up and down slightly, but you can't move it this way. The door itself, the hinge on the door, when the door shuts, the hinge meets face to face. Major conflict. There's no way to adjust. You can't, you move the hinge one way, the door has to go with it. So I told the guy, I said, if I were to do this, I would have to take this apart. Take it apart and I would have to put the door on the car without hinges and just to see if it would shut, if it would close. Another thing, the striker on a 53 Cadillac, it doesn't have a striker like the Mustangs. It's got the striker on the Mustang. You can move that thing all over the place, up and down, in and out, and index the door. On the Cadillac, it has a tapered wedge. So there's a triangular piece on the door, and there's a taper on the jamb, and it meets that together. And then there's a bar with a roller on the end of it that slides up and locks in. It's got kind of this transitional shape to it. Man, it was really complex. And I kept looking at it thinking, I don't know what I could do with this. I really think they didn't set the quarters on right. And now, and also the fenders, when the door shuts, the door actually comes up underneath the fender. It closes, when you open a door and you close the door, it comes up underneath the fender to almost act like a seal. Really complicated. Really complicated. And I don't know that I even want to try it. He said he's had probably 10 different guys work on that thing to try to get the doors to fit right. And to me, it would have to come apart. I would have to start from zero to get it back. So enough of that. Let me get back to the conversation here. Third stall, back order from Kentucky Mustang on those panels. Okay. Well, I'm glad NPD squared you away. Chris, happy wife, happy life. Yes. Rick, my car has been in the shop since October due to parts delayed from CJ. Well, you need to get them in touch with NPD. Get it over with. Because we know CJ tends to drag their feet. Art Man, Gozum knows the Keymaster, I think. Don Thompson says Gozer, I think. Ghostbusters. Good answer. Okay, so I have somebody named Temmie saying hi. Shane, come on, people, hit the like button. Yeah, hit the like button. Andy, don't forget to reset your shop clock behind you. Yeah, I was waiting for somebody to notice what I did when we did a fall back, because I don't want to. I hate climbing up there to get to that thing. When I did fall back, I just unplugged it for an hour and plugged it back in. Now I'd have to unplug it for 23 hours, right? No, spring forward. Anyway, I'd have to unplug it for a day to get it to go back to forward. But yeah, thank you for that. Good observation. Good observation. The question is, where's Iron Man? That's what you need to be looking for. Arthur, this car is so hard to paint every time my heart beats. There's extra puddle of paint pearls and metallics in one spot. What are you painting, Arthur? Is it a Mustang? I don't know. Rick, and Arthur, honestly, I can tell you this. Paint is the most stressful thing for me. I love doing sheet metal work. I even really enjoy doing body work, which is, a lot of people don't. I enjoy it because I can see it happening and becoming something. But when it comes to paint, I stress out because that is whenever things go wrong or can go wrong. And when they do go wrong, then you end up where you're at. Sand it down, start over, fix this, fix that. I don't like that. When I'm ready for paint, I want it to go as smooth as possible and be done with it. I don't want to come back. I don't want to have to address something. So that's what stresses me out the most is paint work. Rick Gaines sounds like Johnny Cash's caddy built one piece at a time with help from an adapter kit. Yeah, that's pretty much what it seems like. Chris, Barry's just a little jab. I'm exactly the same way with improper decal placement and hood. Yeah. Oh gosh. That's another thing. It drives me nuts. Just drives me crazy. Good comment. I agree with you though. Clark, take the skin off the door, twist the frame, reskin the door. Maybe, but it may be more complicated than that. But I thought about that. Luke's doings. Barry, love your content, taking lots of notes. Wondering about quarter panels. Other YouTubers have complained that Dynacorn is crap. Thanks. Well, honest opinion, all quarter panels appear to be crap. They all have issues. And if you look at my videos, you'll see I've shortened quarter panels. I've sliced quarter panels. I've changed the shape of them to match the car, match the door. Basically, look at a quarter panel as a rough piece in some respects. It just gives you something to work with. I've never seen one. I will say this. I'll take that back. The only company that I've seen have a quarter panel that fits was AMD. They make quarter panels for the Camaro, 68, 69 Camaro. You can almost hold it there and watch, and it'll just go and almost jumps onto the car, and you just weld it. And, I'm just saying, the Mustangs, nothing fits. Nobody makes a fantastic panel. But good question though. I'm glad. Thank you for the sticker. Rick, I told the shop to use MPD. When they took the car, they didn't take my advice. Yeah, unfortunately. Chris, Shop desk behind your shoulder is Iron Man, by the way. Yep, you got it. Ben, add a flux capacitor to the J to solve your daylight savings issue. That sounds good. Gordon, for the honor of two brothers. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. Shane, Dynacorn has by far the best for fitment, just my opinion. Yeah, I mean, there's probably still something that has to happen, but if I'm given a choice, I'm going to buy Dynacorn. I will say that. I will buy Dynacorn. So, good observation, Shane. Nick Moss. I almost said it. I almost said Mass. I didn't say it, though. I almost said it. Nick Moss. Bad Harry, agree. All panels need adjustments. Nothing just bolts on. No, nothing. Rick Gain, would be nice if AMD would make Mustang panels. I've been in contact with them. I've begged them to make panels. I mentioned it before. I actually worked with them when we had the body shop. A friend of ours is big into mopars, and he had them make parts for the 64 whatever, Plymouth Fury, whatever it was. He likes that particular car, 64. And he brought me a panel that I massaged to get the proper shape, and then they used that AMD took that panel and copied it, and they were able to make ones for him. And I've been I've talked to AMD and I said, look, you need to make Mustang panels. And their answer was they can't afford to. And here's the reason why. The market is flooded with Mustang parts. And for AMD to take on the task of making what I would say are going to be the best panels, they can't justify the cost. So like you can buy a quarter panel for $100 right now. Well, it's a rough panel, right? For AMD to make that same quarter panel, but make it correctly, it may sell for $250. Given the choice, most people, because they just don't know, they'll buy that $100 panel over the $250 panel thinking it's the same thing. So AMD ends up stuck with panels they can't sell, even though they're fantastic. So I've had a conversation, but they just said we can't. It just doesn't work. And I understand. You got to, it's a business. You got to make things work for you. Cooter always wondered, what is the end deb above your shoulder? A story. That is actually the end section of an aircraft wing. In A&P school, airframe and power plant school, you learn about working on planes and everything from what we call dope and fabric planes, which are wood with a canvas type material on the outside that gets coated and heated and shrunk and whatever, using basically like a twine to put it together, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so in doing that particular is actually the end of a wing, say like for a Piper. I don't know what they mimic it off of, but let's say a Piper Cub, just to give you a reference. So it's a fabric covered frame structure. It's wood. Anyway, that was one of our projects. We had to build that. I had to build that. So I had to make the wood ribs, put in all the spars, all the pieces, put it all together. I had to paint it. I had to build a light fixture for it. So it's got a hand formed aluminum insert in the front. I can't take it off the wall, in the front. And then we had to hand make a Lexan or plexiglass lens for that. We had to heat it and form it to make it match the shape. It was really truly hands-on. Everything on that is handmade. And then we had to paint it. And so aircraft have what they call N numbers. So if you look at any plane, it's going to have an N something. unless it's a government plane, they keep secret. But it's an N572 or whatever the number is. And you'll see that on every plane. Well, we had to come up with an N number to put on the wing. And so that's my wife. Her name is Debbie. So, and Deb, we had to have 4 digits. And I was like, I'm just going to put her name on it. So I made that in what year was that? 1990? So 1990, before we were married, I made that for my wife. And it's been, girlfriend, fiance at that time, but it's been up in our attic for years. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of seeing this lay around and collect dust. So it's up on the wall. Thank you for the question, though. I know that was long and drawn out, but I had to explain why and how. Chris, the only thing that bothers me with decals, you took it off or used the other as a template. Like, come on. Yeah. I mean, you got to have some references. Oh, ho, Barry, you almost messed up. Yeah, I almost messed up, Nick. Almost. Luke, or Luke's Doings. Thanks. I got a 69 has been patched in the quarters. Trying to decide to repair or replace. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Chris, AMD is particularly is Mopar oriented. Yes, they are. But they also make GM. They make GM parts. And they do make some like Falcon parts or something. I think they make a small niche thing with Ford. Chris, seen Mark Warman's work with those panels, and they might as well be NOS, OEM. Okay. Nick, I was surprised how well the Spectre patches fit that I use. Kind of a good option if you're pretty good with fab and the sections you need to fix within those patches. Yeah, I've had mixed results with Spectre or Spectra or whatever it is. Steve finally got a deck lid for the 66. Been waiting 8 months for obsolete classic auto parts to get one. And CJ Pony had them, but I didn't want to pay $200 freight. Turns out local Summit Racing had it. Oh, wow. Well, just remember, if it's a new production deck lid, whoever it's from, I've shown it in videos, you can take those things and twist them. So when you mount it to the car, get it to the shape that it matches the car, and then tack weld the perimeter so that it stays in that shape. Just, you want to make sure you do that. Aren't Mustang panels made overseas? Yeah, they are. Definitely. Arthur is 69 Mustang with paint code P, which is winter blue, and it sucks. Beautiful car as long as you don't get within 5 feet of it. Man, winter blue? Winter blue. I'm not sure I know. Is it lighter than my shirt here? Winter blue. I'm assuming it is. Steve never thought of Summit for Mustang sheet metal. Be warned. Be warned. I did a video review of 68 Mustang fenders. I had an original fender. I had another aftermarket fender, and I had one that I got from Summit, and it was terrible. Just letting you know. If you haven't seen that video, you can go back and look at you can look at what I did to talk about the differences in the panels. Nick, oh man, slow mode messes with me. I don't think words all at once. Okay. Well, I'm trying to be proactive in keeping out the riffraff. We've had issues with that. And it looks like, I haven't heard from my mods, but it looks like it's helping. And I'm assuming they're knocking people out as well. I haven't seen anybody pop up, which is a good thing. Chris, it would be nice if Torino's, Fairlane, Cyclones, Montegos would make fenders, trunk kits, etc., because a lot of them are in the junkyard with 390s, 428, etc. Yeah. It would be nice, but again, it's kind of a niche. It feels like a niche market anymore. Kudolev thought it might be a tail number, but didn't find it online. All N numbers are assigned here in Oklahoma City. Yeah, that's my own N number. That's the only one, my own variation of it. Rick, do you get royalties from A&D for the panel you designed for them? That would be nice. Nope, I do not. Nope. Never really. I was just helping out a friend. It's one of those things. Helping out a friend. Steve, it's got Drake. Haven't test fitted it yet. Okay. Yeah. Actually, I think the 68 Fender that I tried, I think it was Scott Drake. It was only like $150 or something. I took it back to Summit. Just saying. Gustavo, hey Bear, do you order PPG product online or do you have a nearby paint shop? What website? I don't do it online. I've never tried. I've never considered doing it online. I have a friend who manages the PPG store. It's like 20 miles from me, and I just go see him. That's how I get my supplies. Chris, what is the best designed midsize muscle car? In my opinion, 67 Fairlane Fastback. Best designed mid-sized muscle car. I'm sure there's a lot of debate on that. Fairlane, yeah, I mean 67 Fairlane Fastback. I'm okay with that. I think I like the 66 Fairlane more. And I don't like, instead of the Fastback, I like the standard two-door coupe. I just like the way it looks. I like the vertical headlights. I don't know if the 67 has vertical headlights or not, but I know the 66 does. So as far as that goes, I like that look. Steve, I'll cross my fingers. Yeah, when you start looking at that fender, really look at it, because I pointed out various metal issues on that video, and even the fitting of the extension up front, the headlight, bucket. I don't remember all the details, but it's in. If you go back and look in the Jade series, and I don't know what your car you're dealing with either, so I can't say for sure if it's so you got a 66. Maybe it'll fit better than the 68. Let's hope, but I don't know. I just know there was issues with that. Chris, 67 vertical headlights, better grill, and 67 maroon is awesome on them. Oh, okay. Steve, it's the deck lid. Okay, wait a minute. Were we talking about the fender? Who was talking about a fender? There was something in there. Somebody said, I thought we were talking about a fender. Well, the deck lid should be okay. So scratch all that. I thought we were talking about a fender. So the deck lid hopefully fits. Hopefully. I got my 68 GT. Cool. That's cool. Brian, hey Barry, got my gallon of Evercoat Rage today. I'll let you and the gang know how I like it when I get around to using it. Thanks for the suggestion. Good. Let's see, Steve. Okay, cool. And Cooter, 66 Fairlane GTA was the first family car I remember my parents having. Would love to have one now. Yeah, we had. I know at the junkyard we had a 66 GT. I don't know if it's GTA or not. I don't know if it was came as a GT or GTA. I don't know, but it was a 390 4-speed car. I remember that, and I also remember that my brother started cutting it up to turn it into a stock car. Yeah, never finished it. But I do remember 390 4-speed. Alex, I don't know much about cars, but I was in the market for a 77 Nova, and my mechanic said the bottom of the engine needs to be rebuilt. Should I shy away from a car that needs this work? That's a good question. What are your goals with the car? So if you're looking at, classic, if in that classic era, of making a nice cruiser out of it, are you wanting to restore it to original? What are your goals? The reason I ask is that engine that's in that car in 77, I'm assuming it's a V8 car, assuming. So if it is, you can get an engine for that pretty easily. They sell them everywhere. It's if like I said, if it's a small block. Now, also the 77, that car would have had would have had some smog equipment on it, and the rating, if it was a 350, which it may not, at 77, I guess it could have been a 307 in that car. But anyway, the horsepower is going to be way down on that car. So if the rest of the car is in great shape and it's something you like and you want to, build, and the price is decent, you can buy a rebuilt engine. They're available, and shouldn't be that expensive. Honestly, the 350 engine is the most probably common engine ever built, and if you were to just do an engine swap, you'd probably be just fine. You can get a good wrench crate engine put in it, and have something dependable with a warranty. Honestly, so other than that, if the bottom needs rebuilt, you can take it to a machine shop and have them go through it. Now, typically, if you say that, that kind of phrasing, it may mean the bearings are going bad, so it may need a crankshaft. It could need connecting rods. If you're that deep into it, you're going to put pistons in it, rebuild it, board over, make it a better engine, but you have to justify the cost. So is it worth it to buy a rebuilt engine, from Summit or Jags or Jasper or whatever, versus what you invest into that particular engine? To me, I'm probably more interested in buying the crate engine and just dropping it in and being done with it, because there's not a lot of, let's say, serial number type value to a 77 Nova. Like, it's numbers matching. Nobody's going to care because it's not like sought after like a classic Camaro or a Mustang, So you can kind of do what you want with that car and enjoy it. Hope that helps. Nick, hey, random thought for today. Did an annual eye exam for work and almost messed up because I was holding the test thing upside down. Told them I could see, not read. So you were like trying to pronounce Russian letters, is what you were saying. I don't know what that is. How do you say how do you say? Chris, if I didn't have to do USD to CAD conversion on every order, I'd be finished. Oh, yeah. That's the bad part about the crossover. Brian, GTAs were all automatic. GTA were all automatics, hence the A. Okay, so that makes sense. Now I know what the A means. Thank you for that. Did not know what that meant, but now I understand it. Makes sense. Nick, yeah, Chevys are cheap. I'd go for it if you like it. See, there's an endorsement from Nick. So go for it. Barry can't beat $1,500 for 77 formula in the shape of my car. Yep. Bad Harry, if the body is good and the car is not a rust bucket, doing the engine is cheap. Yes. Nick, yes, Rika Durchi and all that. Those bandanas. So you were like speaking a foreign language is what you were doing. I needed that, Nick. Let's see. Ray Gunaya, I don't know how you say that. Are your green hats available yet? If so, where can I buy one? They're not available yet. They're supposed to be making them. I think this week. I have an order in for. Gosh, I don't know if I ordered 100 hats, 80 hats. I don't remember what my totals were, and I think because I have the that green one here, which in this it looks kind of gray. You know what I mean? We've talked about this before. How this camera doesn't register, but it's green. It is green, but it kind of looks kind of a grayish tan, whatever. But it is green. Trust me. Like this. Let me see how this. What does this hat come up? Yeah. See, this hat's green. This is like olive drab green, army green. Anyway, supposed to be coming up this week. Should be making them now. I'm just gonna throw this out there. I was talking to the accountant, let's say, about selling stuff, and he told me I shouldn't really sell stuff. Shouldn't really sell stuff. So I'm just going to announce that I really shouldn't sell stuff. Now, if somebody were to make a contribution or a donation, that's different. You give them something in response, like a hat, for a contribution. That's different than selling something. So just kind of, we'll just let it go at that. But when I get the hats made up, and I'll probably show some sort of a something. There may be we may do some email exchanges with whoever wants to buy a hat, or donate, contribute type thing. Just saying. Let's see. Chris, Barry, bet your tongue on the numbers matching people born in the late 70s and 80s might want all original to bring back memories. They might. But I would rather 77 Nova. I would not want the numbers matching car or numbers matching engine because it's got like 130 horsepower. Just saying. I'd rather get something out of it. Cooter, yes, GTAs were automatics. As a baby, my mom was lifting me out of the passenger side with the motor running. My foot kicked in reverse, door knocked her down, and the car ran over her ankles. Ooh, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. That's almost as exciting as my mom taking me somewhere in the middle of winter in probably a 63 Corvair. And she was driving that car. And those cars didn't have seatbelts. And I remember this. I think I remember this. Okay, I was probably 4. So I have this memory. And whether I made it up or if it's just because of the story, she took a left-hand turn in this Corvair off of a highway. And apparently I was playing with the door handle. She didn't know. And I released the door handle and I started going out of the door. And I had like a big, heavy, it was winter. I know I had this like furry looking coat or something on. And she grabbed me on the way out the door as she's making a left turn in this 63 Corvair. And reason I think I have a memory is because I can remember having my head below a door and seeing a tire. So I'm really thinking I almost ejected out of a 63 Corvair making a left-hand turn. But she pulled me back in and then she straightened out and the door shut. That's what you did back then. Rick Gain, much easier to repair an engine than rust. Very good point. Ray says gone. Say gone and yay together. So gone yay. Got it. Dan, numbers matching 77 Disco Nova is something you'll never hear from the podium at Barrett Jackson. That is true. Chris, try finding a 77 TA that hasn't been LS swapped. My formula's numbers matching. It was a big deal for my dad that it was all original. Yeah, I get that. Fast and Furious, I can't wait to see your new cluster installed. I want to upgrade the one in my 69 Chevelle. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to that point as well. Ray, I'm just going to say Ray. That works for me. Okay. Shane, got to go. Godspeed, very praise for you and your family. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Rick Stevenson said, you'll send me a hat for a small donation. Yeah. Probably that sounds about right, Rick. Yeah. That sounds reasonable for a donation. Dan, a little quid pro Joe Daddy's Garage. Crash Rider, what would that contribution be? Would that tax contribution be tax deductible? Probably not. Steve, thank God for Mama's quick reflexes. Yeah. Well, since she had three other kids, she had a lot of practice. 3 older siblings, so she had a lot of practice. Caden, speaking of, Barrett Jackson is this weekend, I think. Yeah, I think I might have heard that rumor. Rick, I almost went out of the door of my grandfather's 53 Ford. I don't remember, but I've been told the story. Yeah. Well, the other time I went out a door, or was it me? Or no, I was actually a buddy of ours. We were in our rollback or tilt bed. It wasn't a rollback; it just tilted, and the uh, it was the cab of the truck was like a '63 Chevy, and I remember this because we were coming down a hill. Didn't have a car in the back, thankfully, but it was me or my brother was driving, and me in the middle, and then this other guy on the right side, passenger side. And he had his arm out the door and he was just kind of hanging out. And my brother took the turn and the door opened. And he went out. He was hanging onto the door as he went out of the truck. Straightened it out, got him back in. But that truck had a tricky door. So you always had to tell people, don't lean on the door when we take a turn. Chris, I don't think my Formula will ever cross the auction block. Well, that's good. Cooter, it's amazing that anyone over 50 survived our childhoods. Yes. You're right about that. Brian, hey, Barry, just a thought. If you come paint my car for me when the time comes, I'll give you a hat. That sounds awesome. Nick, oh, yeah, I figured out that it's good at digital. I was looking at the HDX version. There's one light variation I fell in love with. I saw in a video. My wallet started sweating, though. Yeah. Yes. Caden, what story did I miss? Yeah, you missed a couple, I think. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know when you left. So, Bad Harry's Hideaway. Barry sent a couple pics of 2 past Mustangs, all 100% steel bodies, 100% rust free. Let's see. I'll download those quick, and we'll go back to that. Okay. I have another email from somebody else having car problems and posing questions. So let me download these 2 pictures quick from Bad Harry. And she give me just a second. In the meantime, we can do the carburetor thing again. How's it going? Here's one pic from Bad Harry. 2 past Mustangs, all 100 steel bodies, 100% rust free. So I'm guessing that's like a 73-ish. I mean, what, 71 to 73? I don't know for sure. I don't know how you identify the different ones. And then we open up this one. Well, that looks nice. That looks nice. Cool. And are those cars you raced, Harry? I assume. Let me see if I can pop that back off. Nick. Barry almost fell out of a vehicle again or something. I think that's about it. Yikes. Yep. Thanks, Nick. It's all right. I think he's made mostly Nerf. I think my head is. I did my little crash test on the go-kart. Caden, okay, I'm out before I say something wrong from the news I just got. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Chris, that has got me a couple times. Firebird doors need alignment and new weather stripping. Yep. Nick, I want a custom Berryman's can. Custom. I don't know why I get a kick out of that. Hey, how's it going? All right, see you, Caden. Bad Harry, 72 coupe and 66 fastback. Cool. Steve Dickerson, over 50, who could pass up an opportunity to lay down up under the back window to look at the stars while dad is driving down the highway at 70 miles per hour? Good times. Yeah. Unless, let me rephrase that one a little bit. My dad had a fixation with the Renault Le Cars, R5s, as they were called. Well, we had 6 in our family. I can only tell you that you can barely fit 5 people in a Renault Le Car. We're talking a little box about this long. So you get 2 adults up front with bucket seats, shifter, parking brake, and then you have a back seat that is just wide enough for 3 young teenagers. But there were 6 of us. So guess where I rode? And I'm not kidding. I rode in the hatchback, in the trunk of my. If we took a trip somewhere and we needed to save gas, that's what we took. And I rode in the trunk of the Renault Le Car. And the reason you're talking about the back glass, the back seat was here and the back glass was here. And so, yeah, I could look out the back window. I actually sat on the spare tire, and that was our road trip, was me riding in the trunk of the car. Bet Harry raced the 72. The 66 was mostly street driven. Cool. Chris, we took the car to the car wash, and my dad told me the coupes didn't leak all over you like the T-tops. Yeah. Bet Harry, I used to stand on the bench seat beside my dad while he was driving in his truck. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, not so comfortable. Yeah. Any other memory I have that goes early 70s, because I was born in 67, so we figure probably 73. My mom had a pink Cadillac, like a 62 pink Cadillac, white convertible top, white interior. And the reason I remember that car is because we would, I remember her taking us to the lake up there in Pennsylvania. And me and my sisters were in the car. I don't think my brother was there. I don't remember. And we were all over that car. We were crawling all over the place. And apparently, she's driving along 50, 60 miles an hour. And we were in the back seat. And she had some flowers from something. Like somebody had given her flowers. I don't know what the occasion was. But they were like roses or something. So we started throwing the roses out back of the car. She's cruising down the highway. We're all 3 basically on our knees in the back seat, pulling these flowers out of this thing and tossing them up in the air and watching them disappear in the distance. Ray, we rode in the back of my dad's Dodge pickup with a shell from California to Colorado. He took the southern route through the desert. That was horrible. I could see that. Hopefully he put some sort of mattress or something back there. At least you could lay down. Yeah, I could see that. That would be a terrible trip. Chris can grow tomatoes in a 69 Torino fastback with a glass and a Canadian spring. I've seen it in the junkyard. Yep. Pat Harry used to love laying down in the very back of the station wagon. Yeah. Yeah, the good old days. Let's see. Nick, my mom used to stick me in the back hatch of her car when I was little. I used to like watching the clouds on long drives and nice days. Probably was only 2/3, 2 or 3. 2 or 3? 2 or 3? Come on. 2 or 3? That would be sketchy. I think I was probably 8 or 9, somewhere on that range, maybe 10. But yeah, 2 or 3? Yeah, that's pretty young to be thrown in the trunk, Nick. That's pretty young. Let's see. Cooter, not going to admit how many times one of my buddies rode in the trunk of my 66 with the equipment bag on our way to high school baseball games. Okay. That sounds great. Rick, my sister and I rode in the bed of a dead 74 F100 stepside. No mattress, wasn't comfortable, but it was an adventure. Yeah. Yep. Chris, does anyone remember when you had two front seats and two, wait a minute. You had front seats, back seats, and two seats facing each other in the back of the station wagon. Yes. And I miss those cars. I really do. Danny, hey Barry, what is the handiest specialty tool for panel alignment? Mine is the Keysco Monkey on a stick. It will allow you to push or pull. Great item. I'm not familiar with that. I don't have a specialty tool for panel alignment. I mean, I might use a slap dolly occasionally, to get between them and maybe reflex some things. I also use 2x4s. If that panel is not shaped right, I might take a 2x4 and a mallet, wham! And you'd be surprised how much you can change the shape of a fender with a 2x4 and a mallet and really not cause any damage. Nick, hey man, I didn't say it was safe, and I may not have started there. I was a bit of a busybody. She probably just gave me the duct. She probably gave up when the duct tape failed. There's probably a good chance of that, Nick, and I understand that. Oh, while I'm here, while I'm thinking about it, I wanted to show you something because I will have a video coming up this week. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do much right now on a Mustang, or if I'm going to be doing something on this in particular. But I was offered the opportunity to test a product. We've talked about sponsorships and stuff like that before. I was asked if I wanted to test a product. I'm just going to show you this. Has anybody heard of these? The Hulkman. If you have, fine. If you haven't, okay. But I did a video on this because they sent me this free. So I tested it. This is a jump starter for whatever. And I will admit, I was surprised. I was surprised at how well this thing did. So I shot a video earlier today that I'm going to edit out and probably maybe come out in a couple of days. But they asked me to test this, and it's pretty cool, actually. It says it has enough power to start an 8.5 liter gas engine or a 6 liter diesel engine with an absolutely dead battery. And I proved it. Not with the diesel, but I proved that it works. So anyway, just letting you know, there's gonna be a video coming out, and more on that later. But I'm just letting you know. I finally got somebody, because I've had offers, like people would say, "Hey, we want to send you, what was it the one time, a spray cleaner, and we want you to do a video on a spray cleaner." And I was like, "Well, what is it worth to me, right?" They wanted me to show their spray cleaner, and I looked it up, and the spray cleaner is like $5. Oh, great. Well, the video and editing time alone is worth a lot more than $5. So this thing's, well, at least what it's listed for, is not very cheap. More on that, later. But anyway, just letting you know. Crash Rider, I believe Nick just revealed why he can't read. Nick, I reveal it every day. You're just now catching on. Steve, yes, we had a Ford Country Squire station wagon with the seats facing each other in the very back. It had the Chevy Chase family vacation fake wood paneling on the sides. Many good vacation memories. Was it a 66 by chance? Because we had a 68 Country Squire. It was brown with the wood grain down the side. And I remember going swimming in that, taking that to go swimming at the local swimming hole. Nick, I read just fine, by the way. Just turns out I need to be doing a handstand. I want videos, Nick. I want videos. I want to see that happen. I could never do a handstand. Just couldn't do it. I've tried. Can't do it. Oh, that's cold. Okay, so Steve says it was early 70s. Hey, speaking of station wagons, and I'm not sure I want to go. I don't know if I'm interested in this or not. A friend of mine picked up a '96 Buick Roadmaster with like 50,000 miles on it, and it has the LT1 engine in it. The Buick Roadmaster with like 50,000 miles on it, and he got it for $100. Station wagon, big Roadmaster. And I may ask him if he wants to sell it, because I know people are looking for those. People are looking for those cars, and I think it's worth a lot more than $100. I can say that. Um, but anyway, let's see. Chris, Bear, do you know a tool that body shops don't use? Long forgotten alignment tool, a hustler stick for bumpers. I do remember seeing those. I've never used one, but I have seen them. Nick, neither can I. That's why I can't read. Okay. Art, I'd be super impressed if that thing starts a dead 6.0, especially in cold weather. Glow plugs and injectors take a lot of power before it even gets to the crank. You know what's interesting about that? This thing is apparently, I don't know if I have this packaging. It is, where does it say it at? It's got some sort of a preheater function that will allow it to start in cold weather. It's supposed to be negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So anyway, I'll have a video coming out on it. And what I did, I show it, of course, you know how I am. I show stuff and demonstrate things. But Frankentruck honestly hasn't been driven in months. And something killed the battery. And I don't know why or what, but something killed the battery. And I hooked this thing up. And I can tell you that it's got a built-in some sort of, whatever. Here, let me watch this. I'll turn this thing on, right? Turn this thing on. Look at this. Look at the size of that LED. Whatever that display is. Not LED, it's LCD probably. Look at the size of that display, right? But it comes up and it showed a fault. Like I hooked it up to the truck and it started blinking a code. And I was like, wait a minute, this thing's supposed to, and I demonstrate this. I said, this thing's supposed to work. Well, it didn't. What the code said was it's like dead, like dead. And there's a function on this where you force it to energize the system. And when I did that, the truck started right up. I was surprised. I really was. Oh, and it's got a flashlight. Look at that. Flashlights. I love flashlights. Strobe light, SOS, red blinking light. Pretty cool. Anyway, more on, you'll see that video. And if you're interested, fine. If not, that's okay too. But I made the video. They gave me the product. So now I have a free quote unquote jump starter that I could carry around in my vehicles. Brian, speaking of the old days, you would be surprised many kids these days can't read an analog clock. Yeah, can't read cursive either. Steve, well, $100 tempting. Yeah, this particular one that they sent me is more expensive than that, but doesn't mean you can't follow the links. Because I'll post Amazon links. Doesn't mean you can't get there from my link and then find another one. Just saying. Ish, large display for old geezers like us. Yeah. And I'm glad it has a big display like that. Really am. Chris, I got to start getting to bed. 6 a.m. comes around quickly for another 12-hour back to the grindstone. Yeah. Rick, I have a couple small lithium jump packs by other companies. They are convenient. Yeah. Well, and of course, the other thing, I'll show you this. I have this little battery pack. Okay. This is just USB and it's just meant to like charge your phone, carry it with you if you go somewhere and want to. You can charge up equipment with it. That's all it's for. I've used this a ton, a ton. I like this thing. Um, this thing has this compartment. Pull it open, and it's got a USB-C port. It's got the standard USB, and then an out 12 volt. So like you can plug in a cigarette lighter type of thing. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. It's like they thought it over pretty good. Okay, Jan, what's a good build for a 350? Oh, what do you mean by a good build? That's kind of a wide open question. I mean, I don't know what exactly you're asking. Starting with a raw 350 or looking for a kit. Edelbrock Performer package is great. Performer RPM if you can handle it. It might need a little more, some better heads with the RPM package. So I don't know exactly what you're asking, but anyway, what else was there? So let me think here. I don't know if I'll be doing a live stream on Thursday. I can't guarantee it. I'm just letting you know. May or may not happen. We need to get ready for the weekend. So just kind of keep that in mind. If I do post it, you'll see it on YouTube. It'll come up as a notification or whatever to let you know. It may happen, it may not. If I do one, it might be short. It might be just a short live stream. But we'll see how that goes. Cooter, the USB would be very handy when house power goes out to keep electronics charged. Yes. Yep. Art, just a computer holding memory can kill your battery in 30 days. So there might not be excessive draw on your truck if it's been months. Yeah. Well, there's something obviously that, yeah, that's a possibility. I may have to just, I don't know how old the battery is in that vehicle, but it's dead. It's because I did charge it and I think it stayed charged for a day or so and then it quit. So I think it's just, I think it's gone. Danny, hey Barry, ask a kid to program a radio in a 60s car. That's a secret. That's a secret. Can't tell people. They would never understand that. I always thought that was a cool thing with those old radios like that. In fact, it was, I always thought it was cool the ones that were AM, FM, where it had I think it was a bar you could push or something that it would like rotate or change the face inside from FM to AM. There was, combinations like that. Bunch of weird things. Nick, Barry, take the week off. Or take the week off, Barry. We will be here for another time. I'm sure I can't read the notifications anyway. I listen for the buzz. Okay. Okay. And that may be what we do. I don't know. I'm just kind of. It's been interesting. Weekend. It's only been 3 days. It's only been 3 days. And the difficulty with any kind of situation where you lose a family member is we as a group, we as a family, we as a society, pretty much we have to keep moving. I mean, the reality is no matter what's going on in our lives, we do have to deal with these things and keep living. We all have responsibilities. It's okay to have the time to grieve and okay to have interactions with family and all that sort of thing. But Like my mom was beating herself up. She was beating herself up because while my brother was going downhill, um, she tried to. They wanted to go visit him, get to him, right? Before they could, leave, they get the notice that he's gone. And so I was talking to my mom today, and she was like, I could tell she was just beating herself up. And I'm a very realistic person. I'm very realistic. I mean, there's a lot of things in life that we can and can't affect or change. And I tried to tell her, I said, Mom, you can't beat yourself up because there's nothing you can do. There's a thing in life, we have time and space between us. Okay. And there's no way that you could jump through time to get there and take care of this. You had no idea that he was going to pass. And you can't say, well, what if or could it, would have, could have, should have. It doesn't matter. And we all have those thoughts. We all have those problems where we say, what if I did this or what if I did that? Well, the reality is it's everything is in the past is in the past. You can't change that. So you beat yourself up trying to go back. I can go back to many conversations I may have had with my brother or my sisters or whatever and say, what if I had done this or what if I had done that? Well, there's nothing you can do about it. All you can do is adjust what you're doing today and live for tomorrow. Try to get tomorrow in, and keep going forward. And I mean, it sounds cold in some sense that that's the reality. And I try to keep that in mind whenever I'm doing things as well. What if I did this? Well, you can't think that way. You can't think that way. You'll be continually hurting yourself in trying to relive the past that you can't change. So, hindsight, Roger, fantastic. Someone told me to stop wishing for a better yesterday. Exactly right. Exactly right. There's no way you can change it. Seamus, hey man, glad you're here. Steve, don't worry about us. I'll still be here after Thursday. Take care of yourself and your family. Thank you. Appreciate that. March Indy, sorry for your loss, Barry. Take care of yourself and your family. Thank you. Ish, I would like to express my condolences to you, your mom, and family. Thank you. And it's tough. It is. It is tough. There's some families that are, and I'm not trying to get too mushy on you guys, but we were not the loving family you picture in the 70s sitcoms. That was never the case. And not a lot of I love you or hugs or a lot of that didn't happen. And in fact, whenever I started, I'm talking as I started dating my future wife when I was out of the military. I was 21 and she was 20, I believe. And I talk about this all the time. I've told many people about this. I saw their family interact, and like her brother was visiting, and they were getting to leave. Him and his wife, they were getting ready to leave for go back to their home, which was a couple hours away. And they were all hugging each other and squeezing and hanging on. And I was like, no. Nobody does that. Because I'd never seen it. I'd never seen that. Honestly. I mean, that was unheard of. And so when I started seeing that, I was like, they're just putting on a show. They don't do that. Nobody does that. And so from there, as time went on, I realized, no, that was how they were. And then I started realizing, well, that's kind of normal, So that's where it gets difficult for me is we have this dysfunctional, put it that way, classic dysfunctional family. And we can all say that. Everybody has can say, I have a dysfunctional family. Yeah, trust me, there could be books written on some of the stuff that, anyway, but I'm trying not to get too into that. But the reality is, you can change who you are. You can change that. And I've done that. I've done that a lot. Changed what I grew up, who I grew up as and with to where I am today, you know. So we can all change how we are and where we're going tomorrow. But again, you can't wish for a better tomorrow, as Roger said. Cannot wish for better tomorrow. Push that aside, focus on tomorrow, the next day. Or better yesterday. Sorry, you can't wish for a better yesterday. I apologize. Stop wishing for a better yesterday. So, anyway, Crash Letter, take time with family, forget about the live broadcast. It's probably the best bet. Ted B, true that. Sorry, thank you. Nunez, I had a Sergeant Nunez when I was in the Army. God bless. Thank you. Art man, grieving is hard, and people do it differently. Yep. And I'm not. I don't know where I'm at in that process. I really don't. I mean, it waves of emotions, And I'm glad. I was actually glad to do this tonight. I was questioning whether I was going to do this, but I told my wife. I said, I don't know if I want to do the live stream. And she's like, why not? And I thought, well, okay. And the thing is, there are people who are, I posted on Facebook about it, stuff like that, and so people knew about it. But for the general mass of people who follow me, they wouldn't know. I didn't post anything on Instagram, stuff like that. So I wanted to just share some stuff, and it's helped having conversations, hearing you guys. It helps. So anyway, trying to stay straight, not get too out of shape here. Nick, you build your own path, definitely, and I am testimony to that. Trust me. And it took my wife had a lot to do with that, so she gets a bell. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up. It's been 2 hours, and I gotta get in the house. Nunez, I don't know how to say that first name, so I'm gonna say Nunez. I got an '83 Buick Regal. Cool, that's a good car. Ray, our family dynamics are very close to what you're describing. I made a decision that when I had a family, they would hear the I love yous. They are now 28, 31. They hear it to this day. Yes. Oh, trust me. I had to leave when I was 18. I felt like I had to leave when I was 18. I would have been a really different person had I stayed. So, but my kids get hugs. They get conversations. They get, proper responses. Rick, I'm glad you decided to do the stream. Thank you, man. Okay, Hindsight is talking to, I guess, Nunez. Yeah. Ray, it takes time to heal from something so hard. Yes, it does. Art, I remember thinking, why don't I feel like I think I'm supposed to? There's no supposed to. Yeah. Well said, Art. Yes. Okay. All right. I'm going to call it a night. Again, thank you guys for being here and listening to me. I know we've talked some cars and we rambled and, we had some laughs, and that's good. That's good. I needed that. I need to hear, little one-liners that gave me a good laugh. Awesome. I appreciate it. I'm Ted. I grew up where we hugged and all that, and do the same now through thick and thin. My boys are 23 and 24, and we hug them all the time. It's too precious. Yes. All right. So again, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate this time we spend together. I look forward to doing another one, probably Monday. I'm going to try to get something done in the shop this week. It's roller coaster at this point, but until we meet again, hug your families. Let them know you care. Take care of yourselves. See ya.